Right. Let's just jump straight into this explainer and put you directly in the driver's seat. Today, we're going to master the absolute most critical moments of a traffic stop. We're pulling this straight from a really comprehensive 50-state guide, and for this session, we are focusing entirely on Chapter 1. That's the foundational behaviors and language that keep you safe, project calm confidence, and honestly, lay the groundwork for protecting your legal rights the exact second those lights go on. So a traffic stop can totally feel like a chaotic blur, but today's agenda breaks it down into 4 super predictable phases: seeing the flashing lights, the officer approaching, what to say first, and understanding your rights. You know that feeling, right? Your stomach just drops and the adrenaline spikes the second you see those flashing lights in your rearview mirror. And that happens even if you haven't actually done anything wrong. It's completely human nature. But remember, panic is your absolute worst enemy here. Every single action you take next is being observed and, more than likely, recorded on a dash cam or body camera. Your only goal in these first few seconds is to send a clear, deliberate message that you are cooperative and non-threatening. Okay, phase 1, seeing flashing lights. This proactive sequence is a real game changer. It signals to the officer that you've acknowledged them and you're yielding safely. First, hit that turn signal immediately. Then, start moving toward the right shoulder at a reduced speed. No slamming on the brakes, no sudden swerving. And once you're fully stopped, turn your engine off. Basically, you want to make yourself entirely predictable. But wait, what if you're on a super busy highway and there's literally no shoulder? Well, if you can't pull over safely right away, you don't have to stop in a dangerous spot. Just slow down, turn on your hazard lights, and proceed to the next safe exit or maybe a well-lit area. Courts actually generally agree that doing these 3 things is completely reasonable behavior. It prioritizes safety for both you and the officer. The psychology behind visualizing safety is honestly fascinating. If it's nighttime, flip on your interior dome light right away. This simple little act reduces officer tension enormously, just because they can see you and your hands clearly before they even reach your window. Kill the loud music, put your hands right at the 10 and 2 position on the steering wheel, and whatever you do, stay inside your car. Getting out uninvited is a massive red flag that can escalate the whole encounter in a split second.
Moving right along to phase 2, the officer approaches.
As the officer's walking up, you want to lower your driver's side window fully, not just cracking it open an inch. A fully open window instantly communicates openness and cooperation. And hey, if you have passengers with you, tell them to just remain calm and keep their hands visible too. Any fidgeting or reaching under seats automatically raises an officer's threat level, and that affects how they're going to treat everyone in the vehicle. Now, upon first verbal contact, if you happen to have any legal weapons in the vehicle, calmly and clearly state this while keeping your hands perfectly still on the steering wheel. A lot of states actually have mandatory disclosure laws for this, but even where it's not legally required, proactively volunteering this info is absolutely best practice. It just completely eliminates any uncertainty and builds immediate trust. Okay, so it's super easy to fall into a dangerous trap here. Do not instinctively reach for your glove compartment or center console right off the bat. An innocent reach for your registration can look highly threatening to an approaching officer. Instead, narrate your movements. Actually say, "My registration is in the glove compartment. May I reach for it?" Then, wait for them to acknowledge you before you move an inch. This one habit prevents the vast majority of roadside escalations. All right, phase 3. What to say first. Always begin with a civil, respectful greeting. "Good evening, officer." It literally costs you nothing and sets a calm tone for the whole interaction. Then follow up with this carefully measured inquiry. "May I ask why I was stopped?" You absolutely have a legal right to know why you've been pulled over, and asking it this way politely puts that on the record without sounding at all like you're challenging their authority. You know, officers are specifically trained to ask open-ended questions. They want to encourage you to fill the silence with a confession. So if they ask, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" and you say, "Because I was going too fast," well, you've just given a spontaneous admission of guilt. And yes, that can be used against you in court. The only appropriate response here is simply, "No, officer, I'm not sure." It's honest, it's non-incriminating, and it basically forces them to explain the stop. The golden rule for this phase: never volunteer extra information. Look, when we're nervous, we all tend to just word vomit, right? But avoid making excuses, offering long stories, or trying to pre-justify what you did. Saying things like, "I was late for work," or "literally everyone else was driving the same speed," almost never generates sympathy. Keep your responses factual, keep them brief, and narrate your safe movements to grab your documents.
If you really feel the need to explain yourself, make it one sentence maximum, and then just stop talking.
Finally, we're at phase 4, understanding your rights.
So, you are legally required to provide these 3 specific documents in all 50 states: your driver's license, your vehicle registration, and your proof of insurance. This part isn't optional, guys. Refusing to hand them over will more than likely result in additional charges. But, and here's the absolutely critical part, beyond this basic identification step, your obligations are strictly limited.
Once you hand over those documents, the officer might start asking things like, "Where are you headed?" or "Have you had anything to drink tonight?" You are generally not obligated to answer questions that go beyond just identifying yourself. Using this polite but firm response, "I prefer not to answer questions without an attorney present," asserts your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, and it does it without being confrontational.
Remember, a traffic stop is just a temporary detention. It is not an arrest. You fully retain your constitutional rights from start to finish. Also, quick tip, if the officer who pulled you over happens to be in plain clothes or an unmarked vehicle, you have every right to politely ask to see their badge and identification to verify who they are. It's not aggressive, it's just prudent documentation.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to wrap up today's explainer. Silence is not guilt. It's a constitutional right. Memorizing these Chapter 1 basics is going to protect you in those crucial first 30 seconds. But do you actually know what to do if the officer asks to search your trunk? Keep learning, lock down your strategy, and never step into a vehicle without knowing exactly where your rights begin and end.